What is patience? Well, it turns out there's been a decent amount of research looking at what patience really consists of and how we can develop it and grow in our abilities to be patient. Doctors Sarah Schnitker from the Fuller Theological Institute and Dr. Robert Emmons from UC Davis looked at patients in the early 2000s. And they described three types of patience. There is interpersonal patience, which means we are patient in our interactions with other people. And it basically involves the ability to accept with kindness and equanimity their needs and foibles and what we might perceive as their failings. There is life hardship patience. So that would be patience in the face of adversity. Think like an athlete going to physical therapy after an injury instead of just giving up. Or someone who lost a job, filling out multiple applications and maybe going through retraining without, again, succumbing to hopelessness or despair. So it has to do with optimism to some degree. Also, life hardship patience has to do with the ability to defer gratification and to work towards a long-term goal. And then thirdly, there's daily hassle patience. And maybe that's what we think of the most often when we think of being patient. And that basically is just the ability to tolerate life's kind of everyday annoyances and hassles. Things like getting stuck in a long grocery line, or being stuck in traffic, or maybe your baby having a dirty diaper immediately before you're ready to walk out the door, that kind of daily hassle. There are a number of benefits to patience, as research has shown. People who are patient are generally more hopeful. They are more satisfied with their lives, less likely to suffer from depression, and even less likely to suffer from certain medical issues such as headaches and GI problems. So there is good news about patience. You may think, oh, that's fine, but I'm not a patient person, or how do I develop patience? Well, it can be developed. Like mindfulness can be developed, can be learned, even if you feel like maybe you're not the best at it, whatever that means. It's a skill. It's like any other skill. It takes practice and some thought. When you're an OB resident, the first time you do a C-section, you're not as good at it as you are 3 years later. Or you're not as good at starting an IV the first time you learn it as you are several years later. Or being a marathon runner. Most things that we want to do take some effort and take some practice. So let me tell you a few things that you can do to help yourself learn to be more patient. First of all, you can be aware of your body and how your body feels when you're impatient. You might notice your chest feeling tight, or your muscles tensing, your face flushing, your heart racing. When you become aware, when you have that mindfulness to be aware that you're starting to feel impatient in your body, the best thing you can do is just to stop. Take a moment, take a conscious breath or a couple conscious breaths, and see if you can find that space between reacting to whatever annoying stimulus it is, and instead of just reacting, find that space and respond in a more thoughtful way. That's about what mindfulness is about. It's finding that little space between reactive and responding. And that's being patient. It's a way to be patient. The second thing you can do is cultivate empathy. Whenever you put yourself in another person's shoes, it's a lot harder to be annoyed and impatient with them. Personally, I think loving kindness is one of the best ways to do that. Loving kindness is a formal practice of wishing oneself well and wishing others well. And you can look that up. There's a lot of loving kindness practices online. And I do have one on my Instagram. And we'll be talking about that more later. But really recognizing another person's humanity, however you do it, goes a long way towards promoting that interpersonal patience. The third thing you can do is be kind to yourself. Anytime you're tired, you're hungry, you're in pain, you're going to be less patient. So acknowledging your own needs and taking care of them can go a long way. And if that means keeping a protein bar in your pocket, excusing yourself for a bathroom break, or doing a few stretches, whatever it takes, take that time. If you're compassionate to yourself as much as you aspire to be towards other people, it will help you in your patience practice. So, again, patience is a learned skill. Like all skills, it improves with practice. And it's definitely worth it for the benefits to yourself and for the benefits to those around you.